Just one little final bit of business. I know some of you have been asking me how you could continue working in Python and particularly using Jupyter past this semester. So the Jupyter Hub that we've been using, it's a Jupyter Lab that's in the cloud. So you do need to get your files downloaded from Jupyter Hub onto your computer so that you don't lose all of the work that you've been doing all semester, okay? And then you can also download a version of Jupyter Lab directly onto your laptop. So in this announcement with this video, I have attached two PDF files. You need to follow the steps in those files to get Python and Jupyter Lab directly onto your laptop. And then I'm going to switch over to my keyboard and just kind of walk through a little of those steps, and then also how you would use Jupyter Lab, how to access Jupyter Lab from your laptop. Okay, so let me go switch over to my keyboard right now. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, because Jupyter Hub is going to be reset, if you want to hold on to your files from the course, you need to download these as a zip file. Okay, so what you need to do is get into Jupyter Hub, and you would just right click on any of these files, and the thing you want to select is download current folder as an archive. So once you click on that, it's going to download it to your computer as a zip file. Now, my recommendation is to move that out of your downloads folder, move it somewhere you can find it. So I've got folders for DA3. So I'm just going to put it in here. I'm going to move it into this folder. Okay, you could put it on your desktop, wherever you want to put it. Okay, and go ahead. If you open that, you need to sort of unzip it. And that's just so that if you download Jupyter Lab onto your computer directly, you want to be able to access those files. Okay, you can't access them from a zipped file. But now that I've unzipped it, when I go in here, I can see that I've got all my files there. Okay. So the next step is, if you want to continue using Jupyter on your computer so that you can continue to code in Python, along with this announcement, I've given you links to two PDF files. Okay, so there's a PDF file, step 1, and then a step 2 file. So what you need to do is follow the instructions in this file. So step 1 is you're downloading Python, you're installing Python, as well as a package manager called Miniconda. Okay, so you need to get both of those on your computer. Okay, so just follow the instructions in this document. Once you've completed step 1, you would then go to step 2, and in step 2, you are actually going to install Jupyter Lab directly onto your computer. So we've been using Jupyter Hub, which is a version of Jupyter that's in the cloud. The good news is Jupyter Lab, which is a version you can put directly on your computer, looks and feels exactly the same as what you've been using all semester. Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference in terms of how you access your files, and I'll show that to you in a moment. But you would need to follow these instructions to, first of all, get Jupyter Lab onto your computer. And then finally, you'd need to run these commands to install the packages we've been using. So we've been using Pandas, this OpenPyXL, that just allows you to use Excel files. Matplotlib allows for some of the basic visualizations that we've used this semester. Plot9 obviously is how we use ggplot. Stats models we use to do our inferential models, and then scikit-learn we used for our machine learning models. So you'd need to install all of these. So just follow the instructions here. Basically, once you get Jupyter onto your computer, to get into Jupyter, if you're on a Mac, you're going to open a program called Terminal, which looks like this. I happen to have it in my taskbar, but if you don't have it in your taskbar, you could click on the Launchpad and basically navigate to wherever it is in your Launchpad. And did I skip past it? Let's see. Let's see. Where is it? I'm not seeing it in the Launchpad, so you could actually search for it. So again, if you're on a Mac, you would search for Terminal. There you go, and you'd select Terminal. If you're on a PC, it is called, it's not called Terminal. It's actually called Anaconda Prompt Miniconda 3. So you'd have to search for that if you're on a Windows machine to get in there. Okay. So once you figure out where it is, you would click on this to open this up. Okay. it's going to open up like a command window, okay? And from this command window, if you're launching Jupyter, you'd type in Jupyter Lab, okay? And remember, Jupyter is spelled with a Y, Jupyter Lab, and you give it a couple minutes. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to open up a Jupyter window that's in your browser, but it's not online, okay? It's using the browser to display Jupyter Lab, but it's actually not in the cloud. You're actually using files that are directly on your computer, okay? So here we go. It's opening up Jupyter Lab for me, okay? And as you'll see, once I get in here, it looks very similar to, I'll say yes, okay. It looks very similar to what we've been doing in the past. This is pointing to a different semester's folder, but again, I could open up a Jupyter Lab notebook file to do some Python coding. The key is you want to get to your files, okay? And so to do that, you kind of have to use this file navigator, okay? So I happen to have mine in my Dropbox folder. I have to kind of get there. I think it was fall 2024. And here I go. This was the file that I downloaded from Jupyter Hub. And now that I'm in this folder, I could access any of these files. So I could come in here and go to this file here and start running some stuff. And there we go. Okay. And the trick is, as long as my data files are in here, then I can connect to them. So I think it was in this, was it in this one? Yeah, it was in this worksheet 2, that I loaded in this sample file. And so the sample file is in the same folder. So when I run this, it will be able to open up that file. Okay, and then I can preview it, and there it is. Okay, so just like in Jupyter Hub, for you to access your files, you needed to have the files in the same folder as the Jupyter Notebook files. Okay, now if you're adding new data, or if you are, let's say you've got other Jupyter files that you want to access from here, then my recommendation is you would just continue to put them in this folder. So just keep using this folder and adding to this folder, and then you can access anything you've added to that folder on your computer. You can access it from here, okay? Now the last step, and this is a little tricky, because in Jupyter Hub, you just can close the window. The problem is, if you close the window here, that window is actually connected to this terminal prompt. And so if I close the window, it's actually not going to close the window. It's going to still be running that kernel behind the scenes. So when you've got Jupyter Lab on your computer, very important, the way to close a file is you would go to File, and you'd go to Shutdown, and you would shut down. Okay, it's going to stop the server, so you'll get this message. You can then close that window, you can leave the site, and then notice when you come back over to the terminal, it brings you back to the prompt. Okay, so that's how you would get out of the Jupyter Lab file. Okay, so again, the instructions I'm sending out, just let me know if you run into any trouble. But I do recommend getting these files. First of all, get the files off of Jupyter Hub so that when they reset the hub, you don't lose access to all that work that you've been doing all semester. And then I highly recommend getting Jupyter Lab onto your computer, even if you don't think you'll use it very often. It's just good to have in case you want to do a little bit of Python coding. Of course, you can code in Python using other programs. Jupyter is not the only one, but I would say Jupyter is one of the easiest ones to use, and it actually is used by real coders. So it's not like a test environment. Real coders actually do use Jupyter to create their scripts. So I think it's a good thing to have on your computer. Okay, hopefully you found that helpful. I highly recommend just going through those steps, get all those files on your computer, get Jupyter Lab on your computer, then you're good to go. Again, feel free to reach out if you run into any trouble. Other than that, have a great rest of the semester. I guess the semester is really over for grad students. Your finals, I believe, are all done. And thanks again for a great semester.